So, more than any other president in American history, Donald Trump has abused the pardon power. The people he's pardoned constitute a rogues gallery of the worst, kind of like the people he claims are trying to seek asylum in this country. Most recently, we learned that he is going to pardon a former member of Congress, a Democrat, Henry Cuellar, who was convicted on charges of fraud. And just before that, he pardoned the former president of Honduras, who was arrested, tried, convicted, and sentenced to 46 years in prison for many, many crimes, including flooding the United States with hundreds of thousands of kilograms of cocaine. This, of course, from the president who claims to be in a war on narco terrorists. So I want to think about Donald's pardons in the context of the people he chooses to surround himself with. For example, we've also recently learned that Steve Bannon, one of the most connected people in Donald's inner circle, an anarchist and fascist, was intimately involved in helping Jeffrey Epstein, the rapist and sex trafficker of girls and young women, of rehabilitating his reputation. Now, Bannon is going to come up with all sorts of excuses. He's going to claim that he was doing this as a way to take Epstein down, but I don't think we should take Bannon at his word any more than we should take Donald at his. So this is very important. We can, of course, and we will continue to talk about the horrific anti-American, un-American, anti-constitutional, extra-legal policies and maneuvers of the Trump regime. We can and we must continue to talk about the fact that Donald is in serious cognitive decline. He is somebody who continues to suffer from longstanding, untreated, undiagnosed psychiatric disorders, a man who can't even stay awake during his own cabinet meetings, who is corrupt and greedy and cruel, and is inflicting enormous pain on the American people. We must, of course, continue to talk about all of this, but we have to ask ourselves this question too. Is it an accident that Donald is pardoning the most corrupt, the most vile, the most murderous people who have, again, been legitimately tried and convicted and sentenced? Is it an accident that Donald continues to surround himself with the most corrupt, the most criminal, the most anti-American fascistic people he can find? Is it an accident that Donald continues to champion misogynists and rapists and sex traffickers like Andrew Tate? Is it just an accident? Is he just really, really unlucky that he just happens to hang out with pedophiles and rapists and sex traffickers and fraudsters and drug traffickers? Is it really? Is he just such an innocent that he can't possibly understand the depravity of the people with whom he surrounds himself? Or, and perhaps this is the more likely scenario, is Donald Trump among the most depraved, the most deviant, the most corrupt, the most inhumane people who has ever been a leader of the United States of America? Is it an accident that so many Americans continue to support somebody who, to the great misfortune of most of us, continues to be president of the United States of America? I think those are all reasonable questions that we must answer. Let's dive in. Hello, everybody, and welcome to tonight's episode of Marriage Hub Live. I am not home. I apologize for the lateness of the start, but I was on a train, and the train was really, really late. You know, it went slowly because for about half of the trip, like all of the signals were out. So, understandably, they wanted to be careful. Except it meant I was really, really late. Anyway. What has been going on today? Well, it turns out that the Democrats on the House Oversight Committee released never before seen photographs and videos of convicted sex trafficker and rapist of girls and young women, Jeffrey Epstein's private island. The one he reached by flying on the Lolita Express. These videos showed off the opulence of his Virgin Island mansion. Pools, palm trees, ocean views, all the things that somebody like Jeffrey Epstein so richly deserves. But as CNN reported, this home, this really dungeon, was the setting for much of his prolific abuse of girls and young women over decades. In open view of many, many powerful men who I seriously hope are having a terrible night. A lot of the details revealed are creepy, quite frankly, because Jeffrey Epstein was a very creepy man. We know this because of pictures we've seen from the townhouse he owned in New York City. Just a quick aside, we've known about those photographs for a very long time. Anybody who entered Jeffrey Epstein's home and after seeing what they saw was still willing to hang out with him is also somebody I would want to avoid at all costs. Anyway, people are especially disturbed by this photograph. This appears to be a dentist chair in a room with masks on the wall. Another notable detail you can see in this photo are the redacted names on Jeffrey Epstein's speed dial. So I have to continue to hope that Democrats and other people, other agencies, other entities, other people with the access and power to do so will release more and more damning information unredacted. I've said it before. I'm going to say it again repeatedly. I do not care who is named in the Epstein files. I don't care what party they belong to. I don't care if they've done work I admire. If they are in any way implicated with complicity in or the covering up of the crimes, the horrific, unspeakable crimes committed by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, they need to be exposed. They need to be indicted, tried, convicted, and sent to a very deep, dark hole forever, which is what should have happened to Jeffrey Epstein, if only he had lived long enough. The images the Democrats released are a small glimpse into the horrors that Jeffrey Epstein committed over the years at that island. And I think it's also worth remembering, and this is sort of related to what I was talking about in the introduction to the show, Jeffrey Epstein was one of Donald's, if not best friend, certainly one of his closest friends for almost 15 years. What does that say about him? Because let's say, for the sake of argument, because I have no insider information, I don't know what Donald knew or didn't know, but I'm guessing it's written down somewhere. Let's say, for the sake of argument, Donald didn't know specifically what was going on. Nobody who knew Jeffrey Epstein did not know that he was a creep of the highest order. And something was seriously, seriously wrong with him. The Oversight Committee posted the following on Twitter, quote, "We won't stop fighting until we end this cover-up and deliver justice for the survivors." The DOJ has a December 19th deadline for releasing the Epstein files, but I caution all of us not to be too excited about that, because we know that the Department of Justice, as run by Attorney General Pam Bondi, is really just Donald Trump's enforcement mechanism and his personal defense law firm. So whatever they release will be useless. It will either have everything redacted, or it will only reveal the identities of people who are Donald's perceived personal and political enemies. So we should take it with several tons of salt, is what I'm saying. Now, you may remember that in light of the significant win by Zoran Mamdani in the New York mayoral race, affordability became sort of it became part of the national conversation, because Mamdani ran on affordability in New York City, which is a huge problem. New York is an extraordinarily expensive place to live, and many people who work in the city can't live there, which is it just doesn't work. So Mamdani talked about things like making public transportation free and freezing rents, etc., all of which I agree should happen. And then in light of that win, Donald tried to pretend that affordability is something he cares about, right? In fact, he campaigned not on affordability so much as lowering inflation, lowering prices, creating jobs. It was all a lie, obviously, because one, he doesn't care about any of those things, and two, he had no plan. He had no real concrete plan, or maybe he had concepts of a plan. I don't know. But the policies he's enacted since January 20th have done exactly the opposite of what he promised to do on day one. Inflation's higher, prices are higher. We are losing jobs constantly. The economy is on the brink of recession. The global economy has been seriously and negatively impacted by his stupid tariffs and his unprovoked unilateral trade war against our closest trading partners, by the way. And so while Americans are experiencing real hardship and are basically being told, okay, so, just don't eat. Just don't buy your kids Christmas presents. What's your problem? Or, and this is more Donald's strategy, because he is, of course, a gaslighter par excellence. He's basically gaslighting people into thinking that they're wrong to think that things are more expensive. They're wrong to think that they're paying more for things than they did last year, right? So right now, he seems to have shifted gears a little bit, and he's taking aim at Democrats and the very concept of affordability. So let's look at a few of his recent comments on the issue.
But our prices now for energy, but for gasoline, are really low. Electricity's coming down. And when that comes down, everything comes down. But the word affordability is a Democrat scam. They say it, and then they go on to the next subject. And everyone thinks, oh, they had lower prices. No, they had the worst inflation in the history of our country. Affordability is a hoax that was started by Democrats who caused the problem of pricing. And they didn't end it when, look, they lost in a landslide. We won every swing state. We won the popular vote. We won everything. It's a con job. I think affordability is the greatest con job. They look at you and they say, affordability. They don't say anything else. Everyone says, oh, their prices were so low. No, they had the worst inflation.
What? Okay. So listen, I know just as groceries is an ancient word um, that is really no longer in common usage, and manufactured is not something people say anymore. Affordability, it's a hoax. Yeah. Okay. Now, now let's say I'm sorry, like my brain just got scrambled because, like you, I am so tired of him. I'm so tired of his rambling stupidity. But in what universe is affordability a hoax? Now, you could say that under Biden, inflation was higher and prices were higher than they were before COVID. Yeah, but again, that ignores the context of why. But you can't say that the affordability issue is a hoax because affordability, talking about affordability, is a way to discuss the problem with higher prices. It's a way to frame the issue in that you understand that high prices are a problem and you want to lower them to make things more affordable. I know this is very difficult for you to understand, Donald. I know polysyllabic words are not your forte. I get it. I get it. But just because you don't care that Americans are going broke, just because you don't care that Americans can't afford anything like, I don't know, celebrating holidays anymore, doesn't mean that the issue of affordability is a hoax. Maybe he just means that since he can afford whatever he wants, nothing else matters, which is, yeah, I think that's probably fair. Now, none of the data support Donald's lies. On CNBC, senior economics reporter Steve Leisman explained the ways in which Donald's policies are causing the increasingly dismal job market. The job market is very bad right now. So let's take a look at what Leisman had to say.
Virtually all of the job losses have come from small business, which has been negative in 6 of 7 months since April. Without those losses, ADP numbers would actually be positive, but you can't get rid of it. You can't exclude small business. And then you look at it by sector. Well, we've seen those two sectors do it. Education, health services, leisure, hospitality leading the way, but manufacturing down, information down, and professional business services down by 26,000. Also, another sign of weakness in the job market, job stayers, their wages up 4.4. That's down a tenth from the prior month. And job changers, that was a big number, or had been. That's down 0.4 of a point to 6.3%. So, Joe, at least according to ADP, additional weakness in the job market, and small business getting hammered. And there is some information that some of this may be coming from being hammered by the tariffs.
Fake news. Yeah. Data don't lie. And also, Donald, data is a plural word. Anyway, small businesses, farms, the average American worker, right? These are things that Republicans allegedly care so much about, right? These are the real backbone of America: farmers, small businesses, blue collar workers, right? That's their base. That's what they care about. Every single segment of the population that the Republicans have claimed not just to care about, but have claimed to represent, to the exclusion of the rest of us. Because, when blue collar workers in blue states don't matter. They're all suffering under the policies of the Trump regime. And none of that will continue to get better because the person in charge is one economically illiterate, and 2, completely uninterested in actually doing his job. Americans are definitely starting to feel the negative impact of Donald's horrific economic policies. According to a recent SSRS poll for CNN, quote, 72% of Americans say the economy is in poor shape, and 61% say Donald's policies are making the economy worse, unquote. Now, again, perception matters, but so too does reality. And when it comes to things like the cost of living, perception and reality are the same thing. Because Americans know what things cost them. They know that last year, when they bought that Thanksgiving gift basket at Walmart, it contained it cost more, but it contained more products and it contained higher quality products. They know that if that gift basket had contained the same thing this year, it would have been more expensive. The only reason it was cheaper because it was smaller, contained generic products, and contained lower quality products. The American people are not idiots. They are not stupid when it comes to these things. They pay attention because they have to. The difference between $5 or $10 or $20 matters significantly to far too many Americans. It is the Republican Party who is trying to convince them that they don't know what they're talking about. It is Donald Trump and the Republican Party that is literally trying to convince tens of millions of Americans not to believe their own lived experience. I cannot think of anything more insulting, and I cannot think of anything more dangerous. Because here's the thing, a lot of people will believe them instead of what they're actually dealing with on a day-to-day basis. Which makes me sad, I have to say. And it also makes me want to breathe. Let's breathe, shall we? And thankfully, we've reached our emotional support moment. I apologize. I have to keep it a little short tonight because I have a thing that I have to go to. I'm in Washington, D.C. for a conference. I will fill you in on it. I'm here until Saturday, so there's going to be lots going on. But I will keep you posted on my movement, as they say. But first, let's watch. We do this often when I travel, and I think it's wise. I think it's wise. Here is a very simple, soothing emotional support moment. Waves on a beach. So keep breathing, disconnect, relax, and enjoy. Can I go there? How cool would it be if I could just do my show from somewhere like that all the time? All right, let's get to your questions, comments, etc. But first, I hydrate. Molly is a new member. Thank you so much and welcome. It's great to have you here. As always, Mida Cheryl, thank you very much for gifting one Maritrump Media membership and the always anticipated Mida Cheryl twofer. Thank you. Question: with Christmas approaching, what is your favorite Christmas memory? P.S. Missed you, but you do have great sub hosts. Yes, I do. I do have amazing sub hosts. And yeah, sorry I've been out a lot, but there has been much going on, all of which you will be caught up to speed with at some point. But yeah, lots been going on. My favorite Christmas memory. Don't have a lot of them, quite frankly. I mean, well, let's see. I mean, as an adult, I could tell you as an adult, I loved my daughter and I when she was little. When it was just the two of us, we started a tradition called Jewish Christmas Eve, and it was just us and friends, and yeah, I mean, yeah. So just having it be us and our friends, and not having to deal with my family of origin. So that is it's my favorite tradition, and just memories of Ave when she was little, and that tradition is being resurrected this year, so we're very excited about that. As for my Christmases with my family of origin, I can't say favorite memories, but I had some funny memories of the really shitty gifts they gave me. Bizarre Low Muffin 96, thank you so much. This is a stop the world. I want to get off the. No kidding. Sometimes, or just let me go to the beach and listen to the waves. Stay on the planet. We're gonna get through this, but we need beaches in the meantime. Suzette is a super sticker. Thank you so very much for that. Kathleen is a new member. Thank you, Kathleen, and welcome. That's wonderful. Margie Zins gifted 5 Maritrump Media memberships. Thank you very much. That's really generous of you. Jody, thank you as always. Comment: hi, Mary. I've been MIA in hospital after heart attack. Shall we blame Donald? My hero Zach saved my life. So kitty treats in his honor. Hope you're doing okay in this upside down world. Well, first of all, I'm so sorry you went through that. Secondly, I am so happy that you're okay. I blame Donald for everything. So yes, let's just add that to the list of the things for which we blame him. And go, Zach. Douglas, thank you very, very much. Comment: Mary, considering how everyone who works with Donald eventually goes down in flames, why do people keep associating with him? Giuliani is a fine example, because people have a very hard time wrapping their head around consequences. I consider people who stay loyal to Donald, who've seen billions of people who stay loyal to Donald get burned, like people who continue to chain smoke and think they're never going to get lung cancer. It's the same kind of thing. Just a weird blind spot. Although, quite frankly, I would rather smoke cigarettes than stay loyal to Donald. Don't smoke cigarettes. It was not an endorsement of cigarettes. Jill has been a member for 4 months. Wow. Comment: glad to be back as I have my birthday. It's just happy birthday. And thank you for being a member for 4 months. Susan gifted 5 Maritrump Media memberships. Thank you so much, as always. Wait, what did I do? There we go. Elizabeth, thank you very, very much for that. Comment: hunker down in sideways snowstorm fee. Oh, I miss snow. It doesn't snow in New York anymore, but stay safe. Also, the VA paid. Rejoice with disabled veterans, please, and pray for everyone who didn't get food stamps or health subsidies. Yes, indeed. We need to turn this ship around. We really do. Karen, thank you very much for that. Comment: do you think Jeffrey was his only true friend? Others in his orbit seem more like business associates, not friends. Donald doesn't have friends. He's never had friends. Every relationship of his is transactional. So clearly he was getting something out of it. But, I mean, that doesn't mean that he and Jeffrey Epstein weren't simpatico in various ways. In the middle of nowhere, thank you as always for that. Comment: the hoax is Kenkel's to Taco. He's oblivious and evil. I cannot disagree with anything you just said. roof. In the middle of nowhere, thank you again for gifting one Marriage Up Media membership. Awesome. Short Pam has been a member 3 months. Cool. Mary, how do we do with the Blackout Friday? The Black Friday blackout? I don't know. I mean, I didn't buy anything. Hopefully none of you did either. I have heard nothing because, corporate media, they don't cover stuff like that, unfortunately. Brown Huffs, thank you so much as always. Comment, thank you, Mary, for making time to be here. Well, you know what? This is my thing. I want to be here. I'm often not here as much as I want to be, but you guys make it all worthwhile. Dorothy, thank you as always. Comment, the ocean doesn't care for it. Yeah, no kidding. Do you ever, whenever people say like we're killing the planet, no, we're not. We're killing ourselves. The planet will be in fact, the planet would be better off without us unless we change our ways. The planet will be just fine. The ocean will be just fine. So that's important. Janie, thank you very much. It's a late fee and a swear jar fee. Cool. I didn't swear much tonight. I feel like that gives me permission to swear more, but I will be judicious in my swearing. Joe, thank you so much as always for being a member, and that's 3 months. Cool comment. 3 wonderful months. Thank you, Mary and team. Well, thank you, truly. And finally, we have Lasselfied. Sorry. New member. Thank you for being here. It's great to have you. All right, guys, I have to go do my thing. So for those of you watching on YouTube, streaming on Twitter, streaming at our Substack, The Good Enough, and listening on the podcast, thank you so much to all of our new members, people gifting memberships, all of our amazing super stickers, and people giving us gifts. Truly appreciate it because honestly, YouTube, I'm going to swear now, is kicking our ass in a bad, not in a good way. So every little bit helps. The easiest way to help us out is subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also we have pre-recorded videos dropping every day, 7 days a week. So please like and share those videos, comment on them, and watch them because that matters too. To our amazing moderators, stay strong, guys. And don't forget, we have a contest to come up with a mashed potato themed not logo, but design for merchandise. The deadline is December 8th. So don't forget about that. And finally, to my amazing team who deals with my ridiculous schedule and does it with aplomb and equanimity and humor. So appreciate all of you. That does it for me. Marriage Up Live is tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Eastern. And again, don't forget, we've got other videos dropping every single day. All right. I will see you guys soon. In the meantime, please stay safe and be kind.